FedNow officially launches just about a week ago. Mainly crickets. I don't really know where it's being used or anything like that, really. But if you're new to what FedNow is, it's basically the introduction to some kind of CBDC here in the United States of America, basically a payment system that you can rely on. Are you being surveilled or are you not? That's really the biggest question. I don't know how much of a question it really is, but basically it's a way of getting your payments, sending payments. If you get, checks from Big Daddy government, and if you'd like to rely on him, you can get those checks. Instead of checks, you can actually get it through FedNow if you enter a bunch of information, and then they track everything you do. So that's what FedNow essentially is. Now, I have a question for you, Ewok, because the interesting thing about this is that obviously creator of Pulse Chain and Hex, Richard Hart, tweeted about FedNow last week. I think I have this thing bookmarked, and I'm going to go to it. I'll put it in the chat. And in my notes here, I put Richard Hart tweeting about FedNow, quote unquote, supporting it, a kind of surprising, positive sounding tweet. And, I shouldn't say tweet, X. I'm not sure what you would call these X notes. But yeah, obviously a lot of people are shitting on the idea of FedNow, and Richard Hart, I'll try to find it, but yeah, basically sounding like he didn't understand what people were talking about with the hate. So what do you make of that, Ewok?
I found it. Okay. I'll actually read his tweet to you. It says, FedNow released today. The pushback against it is crazy to me. Why wouldn't you want them finishing moving your money faster? Did you really enjoy the delays? Rarely do governments make such obvious and useful improvements. Enjoy them when you find them. So I think the what he's talking about is the actual finalization of payment, sending it a lot faster. We are all tying it into the next step. So I think there's probably more than one step. He's only talking about the settlement layer of the first step, and that is actually being able to send money a lot faster. However, that being said, I think it does all tie into the CBDCs down the road as they switch over from your digital dollars into your bank account into these tokens or coins or whatever they may end up being. And that's the part where everyone's shitting on it and thinks it's a horrible segue into that whole CBDC realm. Which I kind of agree with. Now, if the banks can do something a little bit faster and transfer money faster, because normally why does it take so long, to get money when you send it somewhere or do whatever? I do agree with that. If it makes it faster, then great. But I think everybody's tying it into, like I said, the adoption of the CBDCs. And we're all pretty against that. So yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword. I hope we don't have to take both to get the one, but it could turn out to be that way eventually.
Yeah, I mean, Richard could definitely know something that we're not thinking of, or he's obviously an innovator. He is able to think outside the box. I mean, I was surprised by the tweet, and I guess it does make sense. As far as the settlement part of it. But I think, like you said, all of us inevitably are thinking about, what's the other shoe to drop, and none of us really want very much to do with it. So
yeah,
I thought maybe his tweet was being a little bit tongue in cheek. I'm sure he would have more to say on it. It would be cool to get even more extensive thoughts from him. But yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, I don't know who's actually going to use this thing. I think once again, as soon as whatever student loan forgiveness stuff comes out, or some kind of hey, are you making below $15,000 a year and don't know how to tie your shoes? Well, here's $2,000. As soon as something like that comes out and they can get the money easily, we'll just have to see who uses it. So
I do want to read, just take a brief second to read the paragraph below what he said.
Yeah,
and it does say what my mic's in the way. What differentiates FedNow from other payment rails is that it's specifically designed to support instant retail payments. With such payments in mind, FedNow's most important feature is that it will operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, year round, And with FedNow, institutions will be able to clear and settle retail payments instantly at any time, including nights and weekends. So it goes on to talk a little bit more, but that's a great thing, right? Because
Yeah.
when you do something in the bank, it's always been before so many business days. Well, weekends, if that's included, those don't count. So, try to deposit a check late on a Friday, you don't see it until Monday. Hopefully this could fix that. So that could be a good thing. And, I think that's what he was kind of talking about as far as the settlement layer and the instant stuff. So anyway, that's enough on that. But
yeah, we'll see what else comes of it. Again, it was kind of unceremoniously launched. I mean, I can't imagine too many people were like ready to celebrate FedNow, but we'll kind of see what we do hear about it here in the coming months, what changes about it. But yeah, probably an intro to the old CBDC idea. So we'll see how that does go.